As the power struggle ensued in the political arena, and the quality of Roman life declined, the empire was racked by chaos. It was then that a great man appeared and changed the fate of Rome.
Shadow of Rome is the upcoming third-person action game from Capcom that we actually had the chance to first see almost a year ago. The game is due for release early this year, so we've had the chance to get an exclusive look at a near-final version of it to see how everything's come together. The game's story is set in ancient Rome and revolves around two characters, Agrippa and Octavianus. These two friends are actually working together towards a common goal. It seems Agrippa's father has been framed for the murder of Caesar, and Agrippa and his friend Octavianus are working to find out exactly what's going on, because obviously he was framed. Now, besides providing a really strong framework for the narrative, the story works really well with Shadow of Rome's unique gameplay, because what you actually have in Shadow of Rome are basically two types of games in one. You're actually going to get the chance to play as Agrippa and Octavianus, and each of these characters kind of lend themselves to a specific style of gameplay. In Agrippa's case, what you're going to have is a kind of traditional third-person hack-and-slash action type of game that is mostly set in arenas because Agrippa is big on fighting. Agrippa's levels are really going to focus on combat, on really cool decapitations and bloody moves, and later on, even more kind of intricate matches that involve chariots. There's quite a bit to the gameplay system when you're playing as Agrippa. You're going to be able to pick up different weapons. As you defeat enemies, they're going to drop some. But the other unique thing is, because you're in sort of like an arena coliseum setting, you're going to have the opportunity to sort of like play up to the crowd. And if the crowd gets behind you, they're actually going to start to throw helpful items into the fighting area for you. So you'll find anything from meat that you can go ahead and eat to restore your health, to really wicked types of weapons that come in very handy. As far as the mechanics, Shadow of Rome features a lock-on so you can focus on enemies, you have charge attacks, you have various combos that you can perform once you start to get the rhythm of the game down as well. So there's actually quite a bit to do in this sort of very basic hack-and-slash framework. More importantly, there's a lot of variety to it, because in addition to the standard human enemies that you're going to be fighting, you can also look forward to beating up on animals like tigers and vultures and things like that. When you're playing as Octavianus, the game changes pace pretty dramatically, because where Agrippa is sort of a big, burly fighter type of character, Octavianus is sort of like his nerdy friend who's much skinnier and not as active. So he has to be a little more sneaky about what he does. And that's where the game really borrows a lot from sort of the stealth genre. You have this kind of completely different mechanic, because Agrippa's sort of fighting for his life in the arena, but Octavianus, on the other hand, is on the outside. He's trying to find information and clues, pretty much anything that will help them track down how or why Agrippa's father was framed. So in order to do what he needs to do, Octavianus has to be sneaky, so that involves eavesdropping, looking through keyholes, cause a diversion someplace. In some cases, if you absolutely have to, you can kind of overpower people and dress up in their outfits to sort of sneak through. Now, this isn't exactly foolproof, because obviously Octavianus doesn't look like some of the people that he's impersonating. So there's a really cool mechanic where you can kind of sneak through once you're dressed up as somebody else, but you have to make sure that nobody gets too close, because if they do, they're going to notice that you're not who you're dressed up as. When you are discovered, you don't really have many options in the way of hand-to-hand combat, so you're going to have to get creative. That means hiding, that means crawling around and just getting out of sight until people sort of lose track of you, which is very different, but at the same time adds a really good change of pace and a nice challenge that forces you to use your brain. One of the nice touches in Shadows of Rome are the extras. Capcom's gone ahead and put in a bunch of different things for you to kind of unlock as you're going through the main game. You're going to find everything from sort of lists of all the different combos that you can do to mini games and sort of like fun alternate costumes that you can put on the guys, just to kind of spice things up and make things interesting, keep it fun. From what we've played so far, Shadow of Rome is looking like a really solid game that is in keeping with what we were hoping for. It's got really solid action, it's got some interesting stealth mechanics. We're really happy to see some of the extras, like the mini games and stuff. So overall, the package is turning out to be really good. And you're not going to find many games on the PlayStation 2 that look much better. So if you're looking for a little Roman action that will let you stab people, strangle them, sneak behind them, and drive chariots, you definitely want to check out Shadow of Rome, which is due to ship for the PlayStation 2 early next month.